2024 Presidential Election Breakdown. Today, we're examining the head-to-head battle between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, analyzing the latest polling data across all 50 states. We'll take a look at who's leading where and by how much, starting with the critical swing states. Georgia, Trump leads in Georgia with 48.9%, while Harris trails closely with 47%. Trump is ahead by 1.9% in this battleground state. New York. In deep blue, New York. Kamala Harris holds a significant lead with 56% of the vote, compared to Trump's 39.5%, leading by 16.5%. Arizona. Arizona is another key battleground, where Trump leads by 1.7 points. Trump secures 49% of the vote to Harris's 47.3%. A close race in a crucial swing state. Florida. In Florida, Trump is ahead with 50%, while Harris has 45%. Trump leads by 5% in this critical battleground. Michigan. Michigan is almost too close to call with Trump at 47.6% and Harris at 47.2%. Trump has a razor-thin lead of just 0.4%. Nevada. Nevada sees Trump slightly ahead with 46.6%, while Harris is at 45.8%, a difference of just 0.8%. New Mexico. Harris holds a 7-point lead in New Mexico, polling at 49%, while Trump follows with 42%. North Carolina. In North Carolina, Trump leads by just 0.5%, with 48.1% to Harris's 47.6%. Pennsylvania. Trump edges out Harris in Pennsylvania by a slim 0.3%, with Trump at 47.3% and Harris at 47%. Wisconsin. Harris leads in Wisconsin with 48.2%, while Trump has 47.7%, giving her a small lead of 0.5%. Oregon. Oregon remains in Harris's camp, where she holds a 12-point lead, 53% to Trump's 41%. Texas. In Texas, Trump is firmly ahead, leading with 50% to Harris's 45%, a 5-point advantage. Washington. Harris has a commanding lead in Washington, polling at 56%, compared to Trump's 35%, a 20-point margin. Maryland. Harris dominates in Maryland with 62%, while Trump lags behind at 32%, a difference of 29 points. New Hampshire. Harris is leading in New Hampshire with 51% of the vote to Trump's 42%, giving her a 9-point lead. Ohio. Trump is ahead in Ohio with 51%, while Harris trails at 44%, a 6-point lead for Trump. Alaska. Trump holds a 7-point lead in Alaska with 50% to Harris's 43%. California. California remains a stronghold for Harris with 59% of the vote compared to Trump's 34%, a 24-point lead. Minnesota. In Minnesota, Harris leads by 6 points with 49% to Trump's 43%. Utah. Trump has a 16-point lead in Utah, securing 54% of the vote compared to Harris's 38%. Massachusetts. Harris leads by 28 points in Massachusetts with 60% of the vote to Trump's 32%. Tennessee. Trump holds a strong lead in Tennessee with 56% compared to Harris's 35%, a 21-point difference. Montana. In Montana, Trump is ahead by 19 points, securing 58% of the vote to Harris's 39%. Virginia. Harris leads in Virginia by 7 points, with 50% of the vote to Trump's 42%. Iowa. Trump leads in Iowa with 49%, while Harris trails at 44%, giving Trump a 5-point advantage. North Dakota. Trump is dominating in North Dakota with 59% to Harris's 32%, a 27-point lead. South Carolina. In South Carolina, Trump leads with 52% to Harris's 42%, a 10-point difference. Indiana. Trump has a comfortable lead in Indiana with 56% to Harris's 39.5%, a 16.5-point margin. Nebraska District 2 inches. In Nebraska's 2nd District, Harris is leading with 50.7% to Trump's 42.3%, an 8.4-point lead. Delaware. Harris leads in Delaware by 18.5 points, with 55% to Trump's 36.5%. Colorado. Harris is ahead in Colorado with 53% of the vote to Trump's 42%, an 11-point lead. Connecticut. In Connecticut, Harris leads by 16 points, polling at 57% compared to Trump's 41%. Rhode Island. Harris leads Rhode Island with 57%, while Trump trails with 40.5%, a 16.5-point margin. Maine. Harris has a 13-point lead in Maine, polling at 54% to Trump's 41%. Maine District 1-inch. In Maine's 1st District, Harris holds a commanding 27-point lead with 61% to Trump's 34%. Maine District 2 inches. Trump is slightly ahead in Maine's 2nd District with 48% to Harris's 47%, a 1-point lead. Missouri. Trump leads in Missouri with 53.5%, while Harris follows with 42%, an 11.5-point lead. Arkansas's Trump leads Arkansas by 15 points with 55% to Harris's 40%. Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, Trump holds a 16-point lead with 56% to Harris's 40%. South Dakota. Trump is ahead in South Dakota with 62%, while Harris holds 32%, a 30-point difference. Wyoming. Trump holds a massive 37-point lead in Wyoming, polling at 65% to Harris's 28%. Nebraska. In Nebraska, Trump leads by 17 points with 54% of the vote to Harris's 37%. West Virginia. Trump dominates in West Virginia with 61% to Harris's 34%, a 27-point lead. Vermont. In Vermont, Harris holds a commanding lead with 70% to Trump's 29%, a 41-point margin. Alabama. Trump is ahead in Alabama with 58%, while Harris trails with 38%, giving Trump a 20-point lead. Hawaii. Harris leads by 22 points in Hawaii, polling at 58% compared to Trump's 36%. Idaho. In Idaho, Trump has a 26-point lead with 60% to Harris's 34%. Illinois. Harris leads in Illinois with 55% of the vote, while Trump follows with 40%, a 15-point difference. Kansas. Trump leads Kansas by 16 points, polling at 55% to Harris's 39%. Kentucky. In Kentucky, Trump has a commanding lead with 62% of the vote, compared to Harris's 32%, a 30-point margin. Louisiana. Trump leads in Louisiana with 59% of the vote to Harris's 37%, a 22-point advantage. Mississippi. In Mississippi, Trump leads by 27 points with 61% to Harris's 34%. New Jersey. Harris leads New Jersey with 53%, while Trump follows with 42%, giving her an 11-point lead. In this crucial election cycle across all 50 states, the nation remains deeply divided, with both candidates seeing strong support in their respective strongholds, while key battleground states hang in the balance. States like Texas, Florida, and Ohio continue to show their Republican lean, while Democratic strongholds such as California, New York, and Washington remain solidly blue. However, it's the razor-thin margins in swing states like Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin that could ultimately decide the outcome. As the final votes are cast and counted, it's clear that every state plays a role in shaping the direction of the country.